and welcome back to my channel. It's Ashley here, and if you are new, hey girl, hey. So in this video today, I'm going to be sharing 4 ways that you can use ribbon to create some really easy DIYs. But before we get started, I have to shout out my amazing sponsor for today, which is Ashleigh. They have a new exclusive line sold at Joann's store, so that is in store and also online. The collection is called Black Label, and it is called Black Label for a reason because these are really high-end ribbons and the quality is amazing, and I promise you, you'll be able to see that in this video today. This line has an amazing selection of ribbon to choose from silk to beaded to sheer to velvet, and the color palettes to choose from are amazing. So with that, I just want to say thanks to Ashleigh for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into DIY number 1. For DIY number 1, I'm going to be making glass decor vases, and I'm going to be repurposing these Synergy glass bottles. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to soak them in some hot soapy water so that it'll be easy for me to peel off the labels. Now in that same water, I am just going to put those glasses back in there, and then I'm going to take my scrub pad and remove any remaining residue. Now that my bottles are nicely clean, I am just going to remove the white plastic seal at the top, and all I'm going to do is take my scissors and I am going to snip that right off. Okay, so the first ribbon that I'm going to be using is called Elijah, and it is my favorite one in this collection, and I just love the beading. It's amazing. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to wrap this around the bottom part of my glass bottle, and then I am going to take my scissors and I am going to snip off the excess. Now I'm going to take my hot glue and I am going to glue this to the side of the bottle, and then I'm going to wrap it around, making sure it is nice and taut, and then I'm going to do that same thing to the opposite side, again just gluing it on top of the other ribbon. Alright, so I kind of snuck this one in, but this is an LED candle that I thrifted, and literally all I'm going to do is wrap this with that same ribbon to create a luxurious looking LED candle. And I'm gonna do that same thing, wrap it, cut the ribbon, and then I'm going to take my hot glue and glue it to one side and then wrap it around, making sure it's nice and taut, and then gluing it on top. Alright, so for my second bottle, I'm going to be using the ribbon Nandina, and the color is rose gold. And all the ribbon that I'm using in this video, I will have it linked down below for you. So I'm going to do that same thing with this ribbon, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom portion of my glass bottle. Again, measuring it around the bottle, then cutting the ribbon and gluing it to one side, wrapping it around, making sure it's nice and taut, and then gluing it on the other side. Now I'm going to take this Nautical Rope, this is from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to unravel it, and then I'm going to use this to wrap around the top of the Nandina ribbon. So again, I'm just going to snip what I want off. I'm going to glue it to the back, wrap it around to the front, and then glue it again to the back on top of the other ribbon and snip it off and kind of clean it up. And then I decided to also do that around the neck of this glass bottle using that same rope and just twisting it around and gluing it to the back. So for glass bottle number 3, I'm going to be using the ribbon Kenzo, and I am going to be wrapping this around the bottom portion. Again, I'm not going to show you guys again, but literally I did the same thing, and now I'm just going to take the same rope and I'm going to wrap it around the top of this one as well. And this ribbon is also another one of my favorites from this collection. So after I've done that, I'm just going to take the Nandina ribbon and I'm going to add that to the top. All I did was fold it in half, and then I glued it to one side, and now I'm just going to take this side and glue it on top. And of course, after I did it to that glass bottle, I decided to do that same thing with my Elijah glass bottle, and I just snipped that ribbon, wrapped it around the top, and then glued it to the back. So the last thing I decided to do was take this metallic paint, and I'm just painting the rim of each glass bottle. I love how the glass bottles and the LED candle turned out. So this would be the perfect thing to add to any wedding decor or party decor, or if you're just a person that loves glam, glitz and bling and all that stuff, this would be perfect to add into your home. Super easy decor to create. As you saw, all I did was just literally wrap everything with the ribbon and you have gorgeous decor pieces. All right, so for DIY number 2, we're gonna be making ribbon flowers and we're going to create a wall decor piece with them. So the ribbon that I'm using is called Amelina. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna snip some of my ribbon off, and then I'm going to glue down in a triangle shape my ribbon, and then I'm gonna do it again, just making a strip with your glue and then bringing that down. And then all you're gonna do is fold back your ribbon and you're going to keep going around. So you're gonna fold it and go around, fold it and go around. So hopefully with just watching this, you'll see what I'm talking about, where you just literally just fold it back and then your ribbon starts to curl. So honestly, I'm not the best at doing this, and I actually watched a tutorial on how to make a flower ribbon. So I will have that tutorial that I watched down below, so you can check that out too. But literally all you're doing is folding the ribbon back, and your ribbon literally will start to roll, and then you can take your glue gun and you can start to glue in certain areas so that it'll stay, and you can make your flower as full as you want. All you have to do is just make sure that you are pulling that ribbon up and pushing it out. Now I'm going to take this cutting board that I thrifted and I'm going to add the flowers that I created on top of this. And the first thing that I'm going to do is, my flowers are terrible. My flowers, the ribbon kind of extended out, so all I'm going to do is snip that off so I'll be able to glue this to the top. So I decided to add a variety of ribbon flowers to the top. So I created some using some burlap ribbon, and then I'm also going to use the white roses that you can get from the Dollar Tree, not the Dollar Tree, Michael's, for $5. You have seen this in a lot of the recent DIYs that I've done, and I'm just going to glue those to the top as well. So I wanted to add like different textures to the top of this cutting board, so I decided to use the Nadina ribbon as well, just to bring in a different texture, and also of course to add some pink in there. And I absolutely love how this flower turned out. So I created a large pink flower, and then I also created a smaller pink flower to fit here at the top, just to kind of cover the white ceramic part that is at the top of this cutting board. I also took this metal family word, which I'm pretty sure I got from Hobby Lobby, and I added that to the top as well. So here I'm just using my hot glue, but I would have definitely used E6000 to attach this. All right, so the last thing I did was I took these flowers. I'm not quite sure what they're called, but you can get them from the Dollar Tree, and I just added these to the sides of the cutting board using my hot glue. So with the second DIY, literally I love the ribbon flowers. There are so many different ways that you can use these. It just happens to be that I showed a way that you can repurpose a cutting board that you pick up from the thrift store and turn it into wall decor. So for my third DIY, I am going to be making a headband slash bow holder. And the first thing I did was I cut this wood down to the size that I needed, and these are 4x8s. And then I attach these together using wood glue, and I have my clamps there to hold it together while it dries. So after the two pieces are nice and dry, I'm just going to then sand everything smooth and round out my edges. So honestly, I had these two pieces, they're scrap wood, but I was trying to get the colors to match each other and it wasn't working. So I actually just used two new pieces of scrap wood and did the whole thing, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys the steps. So now I'm going to take the Kenzo ribbon and I'm going to add this on top, and then I'm going to cut the excess ribbon, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take my hot glue and I am going to glue both of these sides down. So you can definitely glue these edges down if you want, but I decided not to, just in case like you wanted to use like extra clips or something like that, you would be able to do so. Now I'm going to take the Nandina ribbon and I am going to fold this in half, and this is going to be the first loop for holding headbands. So I'm going to attach that to the top, flip it over, glue it to the back, and then I'm going to flip this back over and I'm going to create a strip of glue down the front side, and then I'm going to glue that down as well. Next, I'm going to cut shorter strips of this ribbon, and then I'm going to do that same thing and fold these in half. After that, I'm just going to take a longer strip, and it's just going to be a straight strip that I glued to the bottom. So I'm going to cut the excess ribbon off, and then I am going to start gluing all this ribbon down. So with the short strips that are going to be loops, I'm just going to take my glue gun and I'm going to glue them together just at the top, so then you'll have a little loop at the bottom. And I'm going to do that to all of the short strips that I cut, and then I'm going to add it right there underneath the first loop that I created, and I'm going to overlap them and do that same thing for the rest all the way down to the bottom. Now I'm going to take that longer strip, again taking my hot glue, and I'm going to glue it underneath the last loop, and then I'm going to make sure I pull this taut, but not too taut, because you're going to be adding clips to this if you would like. And then I'm going to glue this to the back, and then I'm going to glue down that last loop. The next thing I did was I took these gold hooks that you can get from Walmart. They are like 97 cents, I think, or like $1.97. And I'm just gonna add these to the bottom so you can have another storage area to add headbands. And all you have to do when adding these is simply just twist them into place, and they will attach right to your wood. The last step to this is I'm gonna just add a sawtooth hanger to the back. So I'm just literally just drilling just a little bit onto the sawtooth hanger so that I'll be able to add my screws to the top. So this DIY right here is perfect for bow organization. So if your daughter has a ton of bows, this is perfect for picking out those bows that they're going to be wearing throughout the week. And you can add those bows here and be organized. And this is honestly a very easy DIY to recreate. All right, so for the fourth and final DIY, I'm going to be using the ribbons Georgine and Emmeline, and I'm going to be creating a ribbon wall hanging decor piece. So I'm going to be using this embroidered hoop that I did not use from a previous DIY, and it's already nicely stained. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this Georgine ribbon, and then I'm going to cut it into smaller strips. So I did that same thing for Emmeline, the black ribbon. I'm just going to cut that in half so that I'll have different sizes of ribbon to add to the bottom of this embroidery hoop. After you have your ribbons cut, all you're going to do is just tie them into a knot at the bottom of whatever you're going to be using. So that could be a wooden dowel, an embroidery hoop, a branch, whatever you want to use. So I also added in some burlap ribbon and also the Amelina ribbon, and then also some of that nautical rope that I was using in the first DIY. So after you have all of your ribbon tied, it's gonna look like this, and you can spread these apart or you can push them together. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start cutting these at an angle, so it'll go from short to long. So you could do it this way, or you can keep them all the same even length. So I had this letter M, and I needed to use it for something, so I'm gonna use it for this. So this came from Target Bullseye. It was only $1, and if you have like an Etsy shop or something like that and you want to personalize this would be perfect for you to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be drilling the same exact hole on the opposite side, so I'll be able to hang this in the center of my embroidery hoop. So what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to find the right drill bit to drill my hole, and then once I find the right one, I'm just going to drill that hole. So after I have that hole drilled, I'm just going to take some twine and I'm going to loop it through, and I'm going to glue it together in the back using hot glue, and then I'm going to snip this side, and then I'm gonna do that same thing for the right side here. Again, taking my hot glue, I'm going to glue it together, and then I'm going to snip that piece of twine at the top. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm just gonna add this to the center of the hoop, and I'm going to take my hot glue here and I'm just going to attach it to the top and attach it to the bottom like I did the letter M. So now I'm gonna take this lamb's ear that I got from Walmart, and I'm just going to wrap that around the top. And then after I have that piece wrapped, I'm just gonna take those same roses and I'm going to add them to the top of this embroidery hoop. And I added another piece of lamb's ear on this right side, and now I'm adding that third rose to the top, and then I'm adding a rose at the bottom here. So the last thing I'm going to do is take that nautical rope, and I'm just going to attach these to the outer side of the embroidery hoop on the right side, and also on, of course, the left side. So with this DIY, there are many ways that you can use this. You can have this in your home hanging somewhere. You can hang this outside on your door. And like I said, if you have an Etsy shop, it'd be really simple to personalize this when adding the person's last name, the first initial, whatever you want to do, or you can actually put their whole last name on here. So this is super easy to do. All you're doing is wrapping those ribbons at the bottom, and you have a very nice decor piece. I enjoyed making all of the DIYs that were in this video today. They were all so easy to make, and they would be the perfect gifting ideas or things that you can use as party decor. There's so many different ways that you can use ribbon, and I hope that I gave you some inspiration in this video today. If you enjoyed this video, as always, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below to let me know what you think. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, make sure you click on that subscribe button and you hit that notification bell so you'll always be up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!